Oriire funowo. Good tidings to you. I pray that you are feeling awake, aware, and elevated in mind, body, and spirit, wherever you are, and whatever may be happening around you. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. I am Baba Umar, Oluranse Emese, voice of the Emese, member of the Isoro Traditional Council of Chiefs in Ile-Ife, Nigeria, Oluwo of the House of Umar, and Babalao of Ile-Ife, Orisa, the House of the Mysteries of the Orisa. Oriire, abundant blessings to our Egbe, our online community of subscribers that continues to grow thanks to you. Thank you for joining us for another lesson. Remember, as a member of our YouTube Egbe, you can support each other's spiritual journey by posting your questions and uplifting comments in the comment section below. You can also email me using the link in the description below if you need to contact me on a more personal matter. Also, make sure that you check the community section of the channel periodically for messages, special messages from me. If you're new to these video lessons, we invite you to go ahead and click that subscribe and notification button and share this resource with your family, friends, and associates. You never know whose life you may change by that simple act of sharing. Homage to the one who sends and to those who are sent. Homage to Orisha and Egun. Our topic for this video is the 16 Truths of Ifa, Part 1, One God. To approach an understanding of the Creator, we'll need to start our lesson with some perspective on the nature of creation. When we think of God, when we think of the creator of the reality that we see, our thinking is really somewhat limited to our third dimensional perspective on things. But let's magnify that perspective so we can get a better grasp of what it is that we're talking about when we talk about a God who is the creator of all things. Scientists agree that there are billions upon billions of stars in our universe. There are between 200 billion and 400 billion stars in our Milky Way galaxy alone. There are between 200 billion and 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe, many of them larger than our own Milky Way galaxy. With at least one planet per star or sun, there are estimated to be about 2 trillion planets in the observable universe and 100 sextillion planets in the universe, seen and unseen. Conservative estimates assert that the observable universe may contain as many as 5.3 trillion planets suitable to support some form of life. Additionally, some scientists believe there may be parallel universes, and the number of parallel universes would be virtually infinite. So think about the expansiveness of creation. So when we talk about God, the creator of all things, we're not talking about just a God over the earth and over human beings. We're talking about something much more powerful, much more all-encompassing than that. Finally, our avatar bodies are made up of an equally large number of cells and microorganisms, and all of what we observe as objects, large and small, in our bodies and in the universe, are made up of energy and space. Therefore, let us state that to assume that we are the only intelligent life form in creation is pure ignorance at best, combined with pure arrogance at worst. So let's begin our journey through the 16 Odus, the 16 Truths of Ifa, by agreeing on two important premises. Premise 1. Truth 1. There is a single God, the source and cause of all that exists. And premise 2. There are a multitude of highly evolved beings in creation. Beings who are far more technologically, physically, mentally, and spiritually advanced than us. Okay. That's our starting point. If we can agree on those two premises, then we can approach some understanding of what we're talking about when we talk about God. In my May 2017 post on the 16 Truths of Ifa, I stated, there are many who draw a sharp dichotomy between the so-called monotheistic religions, believing in one God, and polytheistic religions, believing in many gods. In Ifa, as in other indigenous belief systems, there is a single supreme God. This supreme God then orchestrates creation through forces, agents, and agencies. There is no real distinction to be made between monotheistic and polytheistic religions. Both monotheistic and polytheistic religions believe in an omnipotent, sentient being that works through forces, agency, and agents. The difference is that indigenous belief systems tend to acknowledge and interact more directly with these forces, agencies, and agents through formal and informal rituals, ceremonies, and metaphysical practices. So when you see an indigenous culture paying homage to the trees, paying homage to the sun, paying homage to the water, paying homage to the moon, it's not that they are worshiping the water or the moon. They're worshiping the presence of God in those things. Ashe. So the word God can refer to the creator and ruler of the universe and source of all moral authority, the supreme being. God can refer to a superhuman being or spirit able to manifest as an avatar and worshipped as having power over nature, over human fortunes, a deity. God can refer to an image, idol, animal, or other object worshipped as divine or symbolizing a god, for example, the sun. Notice that these definitions of the word God, in one way or another, describe or prescribe the notion that this God is a thing, separate and apart from other things. What emerges from this separatist theology and perspective is that this God and humans are separate things. This perspective results in the emergence of divisions between humans and between humanity and nature. If we are to become highly evolved beings, we must understand that the word God, in whatever language it's expressed, is only a placeholder for that which cannot be labeled. The word God is a placeholder for a personal experience that each of us is having, but that we commonly refer to as a personified other. The God is out there somewhere. Humans around the world, and for thousands of generations, have called upon this God by many names, and then argued, fought, died over disagreements about whose God was or is the true God. Let's consider just some of the names of God just across the African civilizations. In fact, let's just focus on names of the supreme God across the African continent. I'm just going to mention, a few, the Ondu of Tiv, the Apap of Teso, the Aribati of Bambuti, the Kagu of the Kalahari Bushmen, Imana of the Burundi, Kalunga of the Ndogo, Gumbe of Zaramo. There are dozens of other categories of gods and innumerable other civilizations, too many to explore in this lesson. The Encyclopedia of the Gods lists over 2,500 deities of the world, and even that is a short list. Yame of the Akan, Oduduwa of the Yoruba, Olodumare of the Yoruba, Rubanga of the Alor, Suku of the Ovebunda, Waka of the Oromo. You'll find even more names listed in the PDF script for this video when you download it from the website. I just threw a few of those names out there. Again, those are names just of the creator gods, and just on the African continent. That's not even talking about the whole world. There is a very incomplete list. This is a very incomplete list of just the creator gods of the African continent. But I hope that this is enough to give you, help you to get the main idea, that is, we human beings are swimming against the current of universal and divine consciousness. The natural current of life and consciousness is flowing towards wholeness, oneness, unity, while we are busy fighting over the illusion of separation. We framed our sense of reality based on a separation or separatist theology, a separatist cosmology, a separatist psychology, a separatist sociology, and the perceived differences between things, rather than focusing on the similarity and interconnection of the things we perceive as being different. This separatist theology is part of the hypnosis of social conditioning, which we've talked about innumerable times in other videos. So, are all these names speaking of different gods? Or are they speaking of and appealing to different perceptions and aspects of the same thing. There must be a way for us to strip away our cultural and linguistic differences and focus our attention on the essence of what lies behind the veil of all the names and images of God in the world. A simple example. My oldest daughter calls me daddy. My oldest son calls me pops. My second oldest daughter calls me Abi, which means father. My youngest son calls me dad. And my youngest daughter doesn't call me at all. It should be obvious, despite the different labels, that they, my children, are all referring to the same father, me. Well, if you think about it, aren't all cultural traditions basically striving to do the same thing? Creating ideas and patterns that can act as a cohesive force of Isopo connectivity to sustain their culture and physical existence? The various ways and ideas about what will sustain a particular culture's existence may be problematic, even horrific in some cases, but in essence, they're all doing the same thing. Remember how we defined culture? A people's culture is their entire design for living, passed on from one generation to the next through learning. And I've stated previously, religion is not an end in and of itself. Instead, it is a means of turning us, of pointing us in the direction of something much greater than what is contained within the religion itself. When Ifa declares that there is a single God, it is not challenging the primacy of one God label over another. It's not saying that our God is better than your God. Instead, Ifa is saying that all the labels must point to the same thing. Each label represents a cultural and linguistic recognition and expression of our awareness, our human beings, our awareness that there must be an ultimate source, an ultimate cause and sustainer of everything. The rose by any other name. Cause and effect is a law. Every effect, there must be a cause. For every effect, there must be a cause. Something connects the effect to the cause. They're connected in some way. In Ifa, we call this ultimate source, this ultimate energy source, Oro, or the Ashe. We call this ultimate cause, Olodumare. And we call this ultimate sustainer of everything, Olofi-dumare or Olorun. We also understand that even in these names, we're referring to aspects of the same thing. There is a single God. Look at the name Olodumare. It's composed of two main words, Odu and Mare, or Edu and Mare. Odu or Edu, those are just different dialects of Yoruba. Odu or Edu, the first of the words, means the main character, the main chapter, or the heading, giant or very expansive, secret, unknowable, authority, power. Odu. Mare, the second component, means fixed, constant, unmovable, eternal, unchanging, unreachable, unattainable. So when we put the words together, Ol, the owner of, Odu, secrets, power, authority, and other superlative attributes, as in the third word, Mare, fixed, constant, unmovable, eternal, unreachable, unattainable. So there is no other deity that can be said to possess these superlative attributes as Olodumare. No matter what name or powers a group wants to ascribe to their God, their concept of God, the reality that is conceived as Olodumare encompasses all those attributes. Again, it's not one God competing with another concept of God. Olodumare is embracing the concept of God regardless of the particular label that's being assigned to it. Because all of the superlative attributes of an ultimate supreme being is what is embedded in that word, Olodumare, in that concept, Olodumare. Ultimately, what we're trying to grasp is the nature of existence itself. Comprehending this experience we call existence, life, is what has led generations of our ancestors across multiple civilizations, cultures, and worlds to contemplate the existence of a God. In the Ifa spiritual tradition, we refer to this experience we are having, this existence that we call life, as the Loja, the marketplace of ideas. You know, when I started thinking about this talk on the 16 Truths of Ifa, I was going to me, in my mind, it was going to be a series of 16 videos spread out over the next 16 months. But as I was preparing the original draft of this lesson back in 2019, with a smile on my face, I could hear my Oriire saying, nope, not going to be that way. You must speak what is flowing into your mind, into your heart. I hadn't given any thought to mentioning the Loja in, this first part of this talk. But to understand what we mean when we say there is a single God, we must understand something about the circumstances of the we that are seeking understanding. We are trying to understand God, but in what context are we trying to figure out what we mean by this concept of God? So we have to ask, what is the nature of the Loja, the marketplace, the realm of our experience? This question is important because the single God must be the source of the Loja. And because it is within the context of the Loja that we have framed our notions and concepts about God. So we'll have to make a part 2 to this video just to deal with God within the context of the place, the environment of origin of the concept. God is something that evolves within the concepts generated within the Loja. So then what is the Loja? How does the Loja relate to God? So will you stick with me? Will we continue this lesson into a part 2? I hope so. Some of our future lessons may also end up as part 2s or part 3s. Who knows? I'm just going with what my Oriire is giving to me and what the spirits are giving to me as I try to share information with you that can help you to navigate the Loja and to improve your circumstances in life, your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. These lessons are intended to give you power. So stick with me and take the power, take the wisdom. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Ki Olodumare Orisha ate egun, fifune ni itona imoye ati opo ire. May Olodumare Orisha and egun bestow on you guidance, wisdom, and abundant blessings. Ifo kanbale, peace of mind from Olodumare. Mogbagbo, Ninutio, I believe in you. Okan ni ido juti, oti ife, my heart embraces you with love. Ajo lo, ajo bo, we go out together, we return together. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo.